Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Hyacinth on the Story Thinker podcast. And we are with Bundin, Krystine, and Fwoot once again.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, and this episode is called Impeached Innocence. And we begin where we left off last time with a very shadowy Kieran making a very funny joke.
Can I just save the panel with her looking up at him? It's just the foreshortening, the drawing, like it's just well done, perfectly executed. Just the I did art like 6 years ago. I forget the terms, but y'all know what I mean, art people.
Perspective?
Yes, thank you. It just works.
Yeah, it's awesome. She probably hates this. For sure. Not even a probably. She hates this. Him looming over her in the position of power, making fun of her. And she's like, no, I fell on my face, as you can see. Oh, God.
The deadpan is just glorious.
But he's still just smirking at her, taking the piss, just being like, this is really funny. His face in this next panel just
Laughs. He's laughing at her. Are you enjoying your time on the ground, or are you silently waiting for a hand to help you up? He's even making fun of her for not asking him for help. And
she's a strong, independent woman who needs no man.
Exactly.
Lauren.
Except she actually does, because she tries to get up. Well, she needs a person, doesn't have to be a man, but she tries to get up. She's like, no, I'm very fine, thank you, like very fine, can't you see? And she tries to get up, but she like is in terrible pain because her, she broke some stuff. Her ankle is hurting her and she's bleeding, and she's like, damn it. And he tells her, he looks concerned, by the way, I'm just saying, you're bleeding and your ankle looks sprained, let me help you. Okay,
yeah,
guys.
Only when he notices that she is injured does he turn off the banter, the take and the making fun of her, and he's just like, oh, you need help, let me help you.
So he's like actually being nice, like he's being a normal person. Crazy. Wow, we have low standards. when he's like, hey, you're grievously injured, let me help you. He's like, wow, he's a nice person.
No, it just shows.
The bar
it shows that
is on the floor now.
It's more the fact that I think it's not that he's just showing concern is the thing. It's the fact that he has that persona, but he turned it off when he noticed that she needed help. That's the thing. He's not just a dick. He's not an asshole most of the time, but deep down, outside, he is an asshole who murders people. But we're not gonna talk about that right now.
And Lauren still tries to insist. She's like, I'll be fine, I can walk. And Kieran is like, come on, you made a great deal of noise. They'll come soon to check it out. And he's like, kind of convince her in practical terms, we have to go, and we can't wait for you to stagger along like a little grandma. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a great way to convince Lauren. Call her a little grandma. She's like squats his arm away and she's like, I'll be fine, let's just get out of here. He like rolls his eyes, sigh. It's so great.
He can roll his eyes at me any day and I would gladly accept it.
Yep.
No
comment. You're like, ditto. We're all in for eye rolling sessions. We'll pay money for that.
It's okay, I'll pass.
That's fine. Kieran won't be making money off of you, but he'll be getting rich off of us. And he's like, seriously, you must be the most stubborn person I've ever met, which is such a compliment. That's great. But then he's like, Lauren, look out. And Lauren's like, what? At which she suddenly finds herself being hoisted into Kieran's arms.
My condolences for Lauren.
What?
Lauren has my condolences.
Condolences. I don't know what you're speaking of. This is a great moment. I want to be in Kieran's arms. Oh, God. Yeah, he would be too skinny to carry me. I feel like I would be like too close to his weight and height. Yeah, yes, I am practically imagining this scene in my head, y'all.
We just Photoshop your face onto Lauren's body there. And she's got like the hot eyes.
But actually, you know, it's weird though. I don't think I'm really into this. Like my husband is 6'4" and he's big. He doesn't work out, so he doesn't have like that muscle strength, but he could carry me, even though I'm like, I don't know, 5'6". I like weigh quite a lot in my opinion. But it doesn't really do anything for me, weirdly enough, because I like to be strong and independent and capable. Like I get pleasure out of doing things. I don't get pleasure out of like being taken care of. Like I never like that, except for when I'm in bed and I'm too lazy to like turn the light off or get food from downstairs or get a drink or get tissues, all of which my husband does do for me. But other than that, I do like to take care of things myself. So I don't ask to be picked up. Like doesn't make my heart flutter. But maybe if Kieran does it, it'll be different.
I love what he tells her after he scoops her up.
Yeah, he's like, Flemings came back with a pink dress to propose to you. Lie. Oh, so cute. Lauren, and he like looks at her in the face. There's this intense moment where like he looks in her eyes, she looks in his eyes, and then she just gets mad and she's like, huh. And she grabs his collar and there's a bang.
She headbutts him. The girl probably has a concussion, and she was still like, "No, I'm gonna make it worse." Bonk.
And he like his eyes become blank, and this like ghost comes out of his mouth. He's dead. And she's like, "Put me down, or I'll shoot a bullet right through your skull." Oh God. We love this lady. And she's flailing around, kicking and screaming. She's
pulling his man bun.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, are we gonna finally get to see his hair down? Lauren, why don't you pull his hair down? But Kieran is like, you don't have your gun. It's like, put me down. And he just said, stay still. It's adorable, people. I love this so much.
Also, I love the music in this section too. Like, I can't hear music right now, but I know that this part plays like cool, like it's like a horn or a sax or something, and it kind of gives that like noir nighttime in the city kind of feel, especially with everything we just learned. And I just feel like it fits the atmosphere perfectly for this next bit.
If Lauren is stubborn, so is Kieran. He's not putting her down, even though she's manhandling him and like beating him up as he's holding her.
Iconic.
But he's also right, by the way. Like she won't be able to walk, and they need to get out of there. So
it'll also make the injury worse if she keeps using it too. So.
Sorry, Lauren. Sometimes you have to let other people take care of you. You can't always do things for yourself. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Let him help you.
Yeah, I know you don't like him right now, but you'll just have to be feeling that warm chest. Yours. So now we cut to a different street. It's a really nice nighttime scene, nice romantic stroll. There's like the street lights and the houses and people, and Kieran is walking. We see his feet. And Lauren is now on his back. He's giving her a piggyback ride. She seems to have calmed down. She is no longer beating him up. And, he's holding her legs. Her arms are at his shoulder. She has a little bit of a band-aid tied around her arm. So I guess someone must have done that. And now she's calmed down and she's just thinking about what happened. And she says, Harvey, there's a file on him in Fleming's room. He was a spy for the 𝗏𝗏𝗃. He was working for them all this time. And she looks distraught. And he just nods. He says, I know. I learned about it while I was at the 𝗏𝗃𝗿𝗄. She asked, do you know who killed him? And she's looking pained. And he says, I had a nice little chat with his assassin, actually. But his face is very serious. Her name's 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗿𝗏. You could call her an old friend of mine, I suppose. And that's in quotations. So
not lying.
Right. But she's not an old friend. She's like an old friend in some ways, but she's not an old friend.
Yeah. Work acquaintance. We don't know their relationship. Let us know, please. I want to know.
There is nothing I want more than to know whatever Kieran and Bella were up to like 5 years ago. Come on, please. So I'm begging. It doesn't need to be a romantic. I'm personally.
I can think of other things.
I'm personally. Yeah, I'm personally against romantic Iridanna. I just think it'd be more powerful if it was platonic, and I don't think it needs to be romantic to be a powerful relationship. But I need their development. I need
There's
it.
something there. There's something.
Mhm.
What it was, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we want to know because there was something.
Yep. And he tells her, your colleague was getting useless, so the leader wanted him removed. And Lauren has this like bitter smile on her face. And, you know, it's like, I don't know, she's probably experiencing a lot of emotions right now, very conflicting emotions too. And he says, I'm afraid your plan to send her to jail won't work. Many have tried before you, and I'm pretty sure none of them have lived to tell the tale. So yeah, Bella is quite a serious assassin. And you see her gripping his shoulder and then like covering her face with her hand and says, I shouldn't say this, but suddenly I don't even care enough to try. So
Notice
she's
he's
kind
also
of,
kind of looking back at her in a way, like the way that his head is kind of turned, it's kind of like, but you don't see his eyes and stuff because it's more focused on her. But
yeah, good point. He cares about her reaction. I love it. I see those little tendrils of friendship coming out.
Slowly but surely.
Also, the lighting in this episode, ooh,
Oh
beautiful.
yeah.
that atmosphere I was talking about before between the music, the lighting, the sets, and just how everything is laid out, it just works so well toward like the mood, and it contributes a lot to like, it sticks in your mind when you think back to like these episodes. You get a certain vibe, and I love it.
And he says, does it really surprise you that much? If so, I hate to break it to you, but there's snitches everywhere in the police. And Lauren says, I know there must be. You said as much on the night we met, which is right, where he lied and he said, I'm sure all your fellow police officers despise the leader. But Harvey, and she thinks back to when the first episode, he's like, Officer Sinclair. He was so sweet, so considerate and genuine all the time. How could I be so blind? So it's the two things that make her so upset. It's the, he was so nice, how could he be a spy? And it was, how could I have missed this? It's really a double blow for her.
It's also the fact that she, in her mind, always thinks of like the Phantom Scythe as like obviously evil. They're obviously gonna be bad people and all this stuff. So seeing Harvey being genuinely sweet to her and to other people, not lying about it at all, has thrown her off a lot because it's kind of deconstructed her idea of the Phantom Scythe in her mind, and it's kind of a paradigm shift for her.
This is one of the first breaks for Lauren, where she realizes more about who the Phantom Scythe is actually made up of. Of course, she's been working with Kieran, but I think because of Kieran's position as the Purple Hyacinth, it doesn't really make him an ordinary person. However, Harvey is an ordinary person, and Lauren, as Bundin was saying, Lauren is starting to realize that good people are still capable of terrible things, and that is what the Phantom Scythe is made out of. A lot of likely desperate people who are turning to the Phantom Scythe for whatever reason, whether they want social, political, economic change, or are just joining for their own benefit. Maybe they're even like, whether it be selfish or monetary.
Yeah, definitely one of the big themes of the story. So yeah. And she says he had so much to hide, yet he never lied about this. And she thinks of like someone pinching his cheek is cute, or nothing at least that made me suspect. And she's again like, this is like devastating for her that her ability is not allowing her to. It's just much more useless than she thought it was. And then she thinks, why do it in the first place? And Kieran, who knows more about the world or this side of the world than her, says, I know nothing about him, but if he came from a poor background, the leader's mission could have sounded appealing to him. Or maybe he was blackmailed or coerced into it. So Kieran he knows what's up. Like he understands the Phantom Scythe more than her, and knows the people that go into it and different varying motivations or reasons they could have.
He's also trying to reassure her in a way as well, right? Because he can see how kind of emotionally distraught she is by all of this, and he's telling her true things, obviously, because he's seen all these things and it could potentially be the reason why he joined. We don't know yet, but he is trying to kind of make her feel like she's not an idiot for liking or trusting him or thinking that he was a good person, because a lot of the people are good people. So, and they have their own reasons. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. Kieran, as a Phantom Scythe member himself, he definitely just knows more about the people who make up the Phantom Scythe, and it's believable for Harvey to have joined the Phantom Scythe. Well, yes, we know they're a terrorist group. When Kieran says, I know nothing about him, but if he came from a poor background, then the leader's mission could have sounded appealing to him. And yeah, if Harvey did come from a poor background, the mission would seem appealing, because again, we know that the leader's whole mission and the whole purpose of the Phantom Scythe initially was to remove the monarchy and the class system that it sits upon. And the people who stand to gain the most from that sort of societal change are the lower classes.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
So-
I don't know.
Yeah, probably her phone disconnected. So he is walking now up some steps, and Lauren sighs. And then we have like two panels of her just like, her eyes are closed and not doing anything. The second panel, like Kieran twists his head and he looks up at her and he's like, "Oi, don't fall asleep on me. I'm not a couch." And she like shakes her head around. And she's like, "I'm not falling asleep. Your back is not that comfortable." And he's like, "How can you complain after I carried you across like a princess across the neighborhood?" She's like, "It was against my will." So yes, they're all very hysterical. And, he just like has this like, "Oh my God, look." And he stops.
I love it.
He stops and he just bunks her down off of his back, does not treat her gently or gingerly at all. And she's like, "Oh, come on, you could have warned me." But he's like, yeah, after everything she just said, yeah, not surprised. Like, she was just like complaining about him carrying her across the neighborhood. And so, yeah, you could just go on the floor.
Payback for the headbutt.
Exactly. So, and he's like, "We're here already anyways." And he's at a door. It says 16 over there. And then she's like, "Wait, where did you even take me?" Didn't even occur to her to ask the whole time, by the way. And he's like,
Yeah, she's just like being carried across the place.
And he says, "My apartment officer," as he opens the door. And that's the end.
Oh God.
Bringing her back to his place.
Spicy.
Yes.
Anyways, okay, let me just do.
Anyways, Fwoot, let us relish in this
No,
moment.
hold up. I'm doing a service to you guys. And trust me, I'm doing a service.
Okay.
So, a while back, many months ago, it is like June 30th, I think. We have no idea where the hell Kieran lives. We all assumed he lived in the 6th precinct, but he doesn't. So, for my Kieran Sims out there, if any of you guys find yourselves like in Ardhalis, if you want to find Kieran's apartment, you want to go to the bridge, right? That's in between the 6th precinct and the 3rd precinct. And it also touches, I believe, the 11th precinct, and that might be the 10th precinct. So you want to go to that bridge there. Then go to the north part of the bridge, so the part that's next to the 10th precinct and the 11th precinct. And if you go to the edge of the bridge, so like, at the very end, and you look to your right, that should be Kieran's house. You'll thank me later if you...
Wow.
I will call you up from his apartment and tell you, "Thank you, Fwoot."
Take a selfie in front of it.
Yes, that is June 13th, a historical day when we figured out where Kieran lives.
How did he figure it out? I mean, in 2 seconds, really.
A lot of screaming, actually. And
Oh, really?
yeah, because F said that Kieran lived in the 11th precinct, and all of us before that thought he lived in the 6th precinct. So it was basically a couple days of confusion and then an hour of discussion where we just figured out, and we like mapped out the whole area, and we like mapped out where Kieran was walking to and where he was coming from. And we saw that like, yeah, he walked across the bridge and then he was walking besides like the water. So his house had to be next to the bridge, or his apartment.
Well, thank you for your public service, because like you said, whenever we get to
Mindy, I can't
Our
hear you.
colleagues-
Yeah, we
right
can't
now.
hear you.
oh, sorry. I said thank you for your service. So I'm intrigued, super excited about the next episode. Even though I know what's going to happen, the next 2 episodes are my favorite episodes.
Them so much.
Plus 93, but anyway. So what are your final thoughts on this episode?
The bonding, the vulnerability, it's a bit more toned down. Lauren being carried is funny. Lauren's reactions to everything are fun. Just him just dropping her on the floor. It's all really great. And then just being at his apartment, it's just like, oh, they're in a private space alone. Just reading these episodes was so good. I remember when these episodes came out, it was
Honestly, since I know where Kieran lives, arson is starting to seem like a really fun, activity.
No.
I will bring
But-
all the fans to stop you.
But besides what I'm going to do after this podcast, once we're done recording, I really like this episode. Like, I didn't realize it when I was initially reading it, like, what, 1.5 years ago? Oh my God, it feels so long. Wow, I'm about to go into a crisis. But anyways, when I read this like that long ago, I didn't quite realize it. But going back, knowing what I know now, it's really quite genius in how Harvey's betrayal in being the Phantom Scythe is handled, and especially the discussion that they have about it and how Kieran touches on it. It really just is massive foreshadowing for everything that season 2 begins to touch on. Because season 1, what it does is that it sets up the building blocks, and then season 2 has started actually like playing with these building blocks and moving, actually chess pieces is a better term. Yeah, okay, so season 1 sets up these chess pieces, and then season 2 plays with these chess pieces, and we get to see everything that season 1 set up actually in motion, and it is just amazing payoff. And so seeing this discussion about Harvey, like, it kind of blew my mind when I came back to it, because it's like, wow, this has been in the works for a really long time, and it's even been like this whole theme of good people still committing bad things during the Phantom Scythe because of class oppression and things like that. It's been around since like the very beginning. So, and especially in episode 12 or 11, and then episode 25, like, it's mind-blowing going back to it.
I just like how when I was reading this initially, I was loving just like the whole banter between Lauren and Kieran, but rereading it, I like seeing that, like, oh yeah, Lauren's ability isn't like, like an all save, like all grand thing. There's like faults to it, there's cons to it, and also like exploring the idea that people are morally gray. There's no white or black. Everyone has their morally gray sides, like everybody does.
Everybody's got a dark side. Can you love me? Love mine. Something like that. Nobody's a picture perfect. Yeah. How about you, Bundin? What are your final thoughts?
I just love this episode. I love these episodes from the 30s are a good time, PH. I think we learn a lot. There's some twists. We get character beats. It's just, I just love it. It's great to see, like I said, the vulnerability begin to come out with these two. And I'm a sucker for situations like, oh, they're stuck in this place, or like, oh, there was only one bed, like that kind of stuff. Those are tropes that I love. And like, even though that's not really what's happening right now, it's just, I love tropes being used and not feeling like they're tight. They're just fun for everybody, which I did my whole presentation on that when we had presentation night the other day. So I love it. So happy
I went
times.
back and read it. I read your presentation afterwards. So yeah.
Oh my God. I need to read yours.
Oh yeah, you don't really get much because I only put like notes on the slide. Like I didn't, the whole story is like in my favorite, but I'm gonna make a video out of it. Now that I finally have a slide, I'm gonna make a video.
Ooh,
and
can't wait for that then.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm super excited for the next set of episodes because they're the best. And yeah, thank you and have a wonderful night, ladies. Thanks for being flexible with your schedule, everyone. I know we move stuff around.
Yay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a good
Thank you
night.
for having us.
Bye.